Welcome back to another episode of Hot Takes, Hotter Mistakes. I'm your host, Matteo El Tapatio. So today I'm going to do something a little different. No hot take or mistake, really, except for falling asleep, maybe. Wanted to talk about night terrors. And if any of you out there have them, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, well, you're just blessed that you don't suffer from the night terror. And the easiest way I can describe it in my own personal experience, I'm sure there's some scientific data behind it, but you basically fall asleep. And then at some point in the night, could be right after you fall asleep, could be in the middle of the night. I honestly don't know when it happens to me because I'm so scared shitless when I wake up. I don't even know what time it is. But yeah, you fall asleep. And from what I understand, you get stuck or you wake up and you're kind of in between consciousness and sleep. So in my particular case, I have vivid hallucinations and I'm so aware as if I'm awake. And I mean, when I say awake, I mean I can see the entire room. I can see alarm clock. I can see the TV on the wall. Everything. It's not like a weird dream where things look weird. I mean, it is exactly as if you would see it when you're awake. Okay. And the hallucinations can be insane. I don't know where it stems from. I don't know if it's a psychological thing because God knows I've got those issues, but it's pretty wild. And I believe the first time I ever had one that I can remember, I was probably about 13 or 14. And the first one like tripped me out, freaked me out, just beyond belief. I was laying in my bed, had a little room, and I would leave the door open. And, you know, in the hallway, there's a little light. So you could kind of see my doorway when you were laying in bed. You know, you could see out in the living room and stuff. And so I'm laying there, and the weird thing is like, it's not like I remember I fell asleep and then I woke up. It's almost as if I was just still laying there trying to fall asleep, right? But actually I had fallen asleep. And I'm laying there, and then all of a sudden I hear this like, and I'm like, the hell? So I kind of look over at my door and I don't see anything, right? And so I just kind of lay back and look at the ceiling. And then again, it's like, but this time it like starts trying to say my name. It's like, Matteo. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I look over at my door and my grandmother's standing there, my Mimo. And it's so real as if she was really standing there, right? Because at the time, I'm thinking this is all real. And she's like, man. And I'm like, Mimo? And at this exact time, she freaking like melts into this like half-sized Mimo blob. Okay? Like, the only thing I could compare it to is like, I don't know if you've seen Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars or whatever, but that in a small version. She was a very tiny woman, but she had kind of melted halfway. So she looked like a damn melted candle, and she's still talking to me. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Now, before you say anything, I was 13 or 14. I had not dabbled into the science of the magic num-nums yet or anything like that. So this was nothing induced by any kind of chemical or whatever else. It was just my brain or whatever doing this weird thing. And it was so freaking real. And it felt like she just sat there forever, right? And the weird thing about the night terrors is that it's not like a normal dream where, you know, in a normal dream, something will happen and it'll just boom. It'll pull you out of it and you wake up and you're like, this shit you get stuck in, right? So there's not much you could do except for just sit there and ride it out. And in this particular case, although this was freaky and, you know, kind of really odd, this was like, I'm talking peanuts compared to my night terrors that I've had in my life since then. And I'm telling you, they can be, to be honest with you, they can be downright traumatic. Like, I've had them before where I've literally felt the effects of it well into the day, and sometimes even thought about the next day or the day after that, right? I mean, this is like, it because it's so real and because it's so like visceral, it feels like it's something that actually happened to you, and that's wild. And I know people that, if people watch this and they have night terrors, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, one of the other just really wild ones, and this one kind of stuck with me for a little bit, was falling asleep and woke up laying on my pillow. And when I say wake up, you have to understand, in this state, you feel like you're waking up, but you're actually not waking up, right? That's just part of it. It's always waking up, but you're not really waking up. I know that sounds repetitive, but so I had woken up and my face was down on my pillow, and my whole mouth was just sore, right? Like I had just got braces or just got a tooth pulled or whatever, just this intense, like dull, throbbing pain in my mouth, right? And so I'm laying there and I'm like, oh man. And I start doing that with my tongue. And I noticed that when I run my tongue through my mouth, I can feel spaces in between my teeth. I'm like, what the fuck? Right? And so in this state of like hallucination or whatever, the light isn't on in the bedroom, but I can see as if there was a, you know, small nightlight on or something, right? So I'm like this. So I push myself up and I look down at my pillow and there's blood all over my pillow. Okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on? And so then I look down and I see like 3 of my teeth laying on the bed. And I'm like, oh my God, I must have knocked my teeth out or something, right? And so then I'm like, oh God, this is crazy. So I get up out of bed and I walk into the bathroom and I turn the light on and I look in the mirror like this. And at this point, all my freaking teeth are missing. They're all gone. And it's not like they're gone as in I didn't have teeth. They were like gone as in they'd been knocked out, right? Blood's all in my mouth. No freaking teeth. Okay? So at this point, I'm freaking out. So then I walk over and have like a little dresser, long dresser in the bedroom up against the wall. And I'm freaking out and I'm telling my wife, I'm like, oh my God, all my teeth are knocked out. And she's like, what? And I'm like, all my freaking teeth, like, I don't know what I did, but some of them are in the bed. I just looked in the mirror, all my freaking teeth are gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I hit my teeth on the headboard or what, but all my teeth are gone. And she is like, what? No, your teeth are right over there. And so I look over on the dresser and there's my freaking teeth, right? They're like all perfectly lined up, almost like dentures, except missing the gum pieces. So I'm like, oh, thank God. So I grab my teeth, run back to the bathroom, and I start pushing them up into my mouth, down in the bottom, and start doing like this to try to reset my teeth. And the wild thing is I can feel the pain and feel the teeth going back up into my gums, right? And I'm like, oh my God, they're back in. They're back in. Oh, thank God they're back in. Like biting down, making sure they're not going to fall back out. So she lays down. I go lay back down on the pillow. We turn the lights back off. And then boom, I wake up and realize that was all a night terror. Right? It's fucking wild. I know. But when I woke up, just that could almost still feel pain in my mouth. And just in a pure, just sweat, cold sweat. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Right? And the weird thing is once you have one, or at least for me, some people they just might be like, oh, it's just another little night terror. But for me, that shit freaks me out and I cannot go back to sleep. So if it happens at 1 o'clock in the morning, guess who's getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning? Mateo's going to get up and go do something, go take a walk or something, because I am not going back to sleep. Oh, yeah. And one of the other, God, I've had so many of them. One of the other weird ones was a lot of people talk about a figure in black, right? I've had the lady, and I think there's like a folklore behind it. There's a name for it or whatever. But I've had the lady, I've had her pick me up out of bed, like up to the ceiling and slam me down on the mattress, and just over and over again. And the wild thing is, it's like I say, you can see the entire room. I can see the ceiling coming up. I can feel myself slamming down on the bed. I can feel I can feel the mattress hitting me. I can feel my face hitting the mattress. I can feel the air across me as she's flicking me up and down. It's wild. It's frightening. I'm sure there's some screw loose. I don't know. But yeah, that I've had her, the weirdest one, because she always attacks me. Like it's usually like the real mild ones. I say mild, they're not mild, but like mild as in like not real super weird shit. The mild ones are she just gets on top of you and kind of tries to choke you out, and you can't tap because there's nothing there. So she's just going to keep choking, right? Now I say she normally strokes me, right? So there was one particular case, and it's the only time this has ever happened, but she actually was choking my wife, which was fucking weird. So I like I say, you wake up and I look over and she just like, and yeah, pretty weird. But by far the weirdest one was when I was laying there, okay, again, laying there, actually asleep, but not knowing you're asleep. And I feel this like burning sensation on my left hand, right? So at this point in my dream state, terror state, my eyes are closed. So I'm laying there and I feel just this intense burn on these two fingers, right? And I'm like, oh, what is that? And then the burn goes from just a kind of a burning to a full-on, like, intense pain. And at that point, it wakes me up. And I'm like, and I look over, okay? And my wife has these black, deep, almost like the eyes you see of like the ghost in the movies, like the the dead ghost or whatever. You know, it's the dark, dead, black eyes. So she's looking at me like this, and my two fingers, she's like that. She's biting down on them, and she's making this noise. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm screaming, what are you doing? And she's just like, with these dark, dead eyes. And I'm like, give me my fingers back. Like, and she's biting down harder and harder. And I'm thinking she's going to bite them off, right? Like, just snap through the bone. So I'm pulling, like, give me my fingers back, lady. And she just got, and as I pull, right, the skin and the meat just comes off my fingers. So I'm basically standing there like this with, three good ones, and these are just bone, right? And I'm like, oh Jesus, you ate the meat off my fingers. And I'm like freaking out, just screaming, freaking out. What is going on? And she's just like this, like with her head on the pillow, like, and got like blood coming down her mouth. Wild, right? So the crazy thing is when you get stuck in it, there's nothing you could do to get out of it, right? But what I found out over the years, and there's an agreement between my wife and I, and she doesn't always honor that agreement. But I've always told her, if you hear me making the noise, no, if you wake up and you happen to hear me moaning as if I'm getting murdered, give me a nice little tap, give me a push, and at this point, I've even given her the authority to slap the shit out of me. I mean, for real, it's that bad. Like, I'm like, if you have to physically assault me to get me out of this state, I'm completely okay with that. There will be no charges filed if you wake me up from one of these freaking night terrors, right? And so it happens periodically, and she'll be like, hey, get up, you're doing the screaming thing again. And I'm like, oh, thank God, thank you, I'm sorry. But then there's other times where and I know it's not her fault, right? Like, she has no control of what goes on in this freaking crazy head. But there's sometimes I'll have one and I'll wake up. And usually when I wake up, I'm moving around because I am trying to shake this shit off. So I'm like, get off, yeah. And I will wake her up from moving around so much, right? And then I'm mad at her. I'm like, bro, you had to have heard me screaming. Why didn't you wake me up? And of course, in her defense, like, she's just trying to sleep too. But yeah, it's wild. I would love to hear other people's stories on what they experience in their night terrors. I mean, I laugh about it only because I have to laugh at everything. That's the only way I get through life. It doesn't matter the severity of the situation. I'm going to find humor in it, and I'm going to laugh. That's just what I do. That's my coping mechanism, I guess, as the psychiatrist would say. But yeah, night terrors, man, they're wild. And if you don't have them, I am tickled pink and thankful that you don't, because they are very disturbing. Right? So that's all I have for tonight. Like, subscribe, follow if you want. And keep telling crazy stories and wild rants. So y'all take care.